Is it true that you reckon that 2012 the world will actually end?
No, I don't think it's going to end, but I think the world as we know it, the lives that we've all become accustomed to, jumping on planes, going here and there and everywhere, and I think this world might be coming to an end. I don't think it's the end of the world and mankind, no I don't, but I think we're going into a cataclysmic period, a really cataclysmic period. I mean, you can see which way it's going. Last year, food prices went up 80%, and these food drives, well, that's what they are. The revolutions of the Middle East were inspired by inflation and food, and that's going to come here. We're not immune to it. You will see in your lifetime people smashing up supermarkets and going crazy. You'll probably see military rule restored to Greece, and the reason why Mr. Obama is sending all the troops from Afghanistan and Iraq back home is he's worried about what's going to happen at home. You know, there's unrest in the world, and people feel it. They know that things aren't right in public. They know something's wrong. They know that politicians are becoming aware of that. Politicians are just hiring hitmen that work for people like Murdoch and other international bankers, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, and the rest of the cronies. You know, and when you have so few haves and so many have-nots, well, I mean, that's the conditions are ripe for upheaval, social upheaval. You know, I spend my time trying to think of solutions to the problem, and Geordie does too, thinking of things like Geordie says, dig for victory. If food prices are going up 80% in 1 year, we have to start communal gardens everywhere, so poor people can go and take vegetables whenever they want and tend the garden. And we do that on the island I live on. We've got communal gardens, and our poor people live on the island. They just go to the communal garden, they take their sweet potatoes and their greens and everything from there, and they do a couple of hours and work on the gardens, and it's fine. And we should do the same with our parks and our backyards, and we need this kind of green revolution, because here's the problem, you see. The problem is the biosphere is at threat from overpopulation. If you can consider the fact that the population of New York is being reborn every 2 weeks, and the stress this puts on the ecosystem, there you have the problem. Therein lies the problem, is overpopulation, and we're going to have starving masses. When you've got the bottom level of society that cannot afford to feed themselves adequately, that's when the problems will begin. And America will default, and the world will change. I can see upheaval on a massive level, and you can see it. If you just look at local police forces and the way they're arming themselves and preparing, they're preparing for social unrest, make no mistake about it. And that's why I kind of advocate moving away from population density centres, because you see, once they start smashing up the supermarkets, then you're going to go hungry. So cities aren't necessarily the best places to live in the coming crisis. And the other problem is, of course, with Codex Alimentarius, they're taking all the vitamins and nutrients out of foods, and it's no conspiracy, it's reality. Dame Judi Dench is protesting to the World Health Organization about it. And they're taking all the nutrients and vitamins out of food, so that we have a sick population and people die quicker. Big agro is in collusion with big pharmaceutical companies. I believe, yes, they are releasing viruses and creating viruses, and depopulation for cash is seriously on the agenda for these big companies. Absolutely. I mean, what was Baxter's doing? They were caught out sending the spores of the virus to a sister company. They're caught in the Czech Republic, actually. That's what we catch. I mean, you know, they're mucking around with it all. They're mucking around with us because there's too many of us. The Global 2000 report that Carter started and Clinton finished says we have to maintain the population at 500 million. But how are we going to do that? It doesn't say how we're going to do it. The reason why it doesn't say how we're going to do it is they know how we're going to do it. They can't tell us. And intelligent people must know what's going on. And that's why supermarket food's not good for you anyway. That's why you won't be able to find 1,000 mics of vitamin C, because it's illegal. You won't be able to get foods like spinach, because they'll be banned by food harmonisation. Yeah, it's for real. And it started a year ago in 172 countries. And you control the population, you control the food, you control everybody. Everybody needs food to survive. Once you control food and water, you have everybody by the fucking balls. So most of my time thinking about ways how we can overcome these hurdles. And who will guard the guards? You know, I love the acts of transparency like WikiLeaks that are happening, and this whole case with the News of the World and the Shell Corporation, people inside the corporation releasing all the names and address of every we shouldn't stop there. We've got to keep going until we identify all the majority shareholders of the top 100 corporations and then fucking dismantle. And yet I find myself strangely in collusion with people who are pushing towards a world government, because I can't see how the hell we're going to stop the Chinese and the Russians building nuclear power stations unless we have a global moratorium on these things. And you're only going to achieve this if you have a World Council. So it's a logical way for us to develop. Here's the thing: it can be David Rockefeller's vision of a new world order, which is authoritarian, or it can be Schiller's and Beethoven's or Mahatma Gandhi's vision of a world family or a global family. And it's up to us to decide which of these two choices we make, you know?